Hey Internet, what's up? Welcome to the very first episode of the No Limit podcast with me, your host Kopano. For my very first guest, I have the pleasure of having South African YouTube superstar, Mr. Sibu Mpanza.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me, dude.
No, thank you for agreeing to be the very first one.
I'm always excited. I'm always excited to do interviews like this.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. I started this so I can just get the conversation going about creative people in South Africa, especially with like YouTube as it emerges in the country. It's still very small, and I think there's a big space there for especially a lot of young black creators. And I want us to have like a conversation about that, but later. Firstly, let's talk about me as a creative. Where does this start? Where are you from?
Okay, so I was born in Mpumalanga, but I grew up in Cape Town. I literally went from Mpumalanga to Cape Town within a couple of days. Like my mom put me on the plane when I was still a baby. Like I was a newborn. Actually, it's funny enough, when we landed in Cape Town, I wasn't breathing. Like my mom asked the doctors, can she take me on a plane as a newborn? They were like, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. Got on the plane, on the way, like landing, I was not okay, I was not breathing. As soon as they dropped me off, we got off the plane, we drove all the way to the hospital. It was very, very dramatic. It was very, very dramatic. But yeah, I've been living in Cape Town I lived in Cape Town most of my life. From Khayelitsha to Mitchell's Plain, pretty much that side, growing up. And then when it got to high school, I moved to, I lived at school, so I was in hostel, where I went to Wyburg Boys High, which is a very white school, very colonial, white. Which was a very, it's formed a lot of who I am today, a lot of my opinions, a lot of the ways that I see life, the lens that I look at life through. And then from there I went to UCT. I studied there for a couple of years, did not finish. It was a bit too difficult for me. I called it a day. And then I moved to Joburg, man, and that's me now. I'm a Joburg
kid now.
I'm a Joburg kid. I'm a cool kid from Joburg now. Yeah.
And you started doing YouTube while you were at UCT?
Yes, I did. So I started doing YouTube in my second year. I was really just not necessarily enjoying varsity. The content was really nice. I enjoyed the content, but I was not necessarily enjoying the way that I had to study. I had to hand in things, and there was just a lot that I wasn't necessarily enjoying about it, but I enjoyed the content. And to not waste my mom's money, I called it a day. Before my final year, it was supposed to be a 4-year degree, guys. Hey, it was a 5-year, going on to year 6.
Listen, we know that struggle. Every varsity student knows that struggle.
Yeah, so that was me. So before my final year of what was turning into 6 years now, so I had just done 2013, 14, 15, 16, I had just done the 4th year. I was going into the 5th year, and I told my mom, listen, I'm calling it.
Good.
I have to move. And the first thing I told her is the fact that I'm dropping out. And then she was like, you know what? It's okay. You can drop out for a year or whatever. So what? And I was like, I'm moving to Joburg. And she was like, what? Why are you moving to Joburg? And I was just like, because I feel like I need a new start. I need a totally different place. Also, I don't feel like the creative scene here and what I'm trying to do is not necessarily working out. So I moved to Joburg, and I was like, I'm going to try and become a YouTuber, which was unheard of at the time. Yeah.
I feel like you're the first person in the country to do it full-time. Full-time.
I mean, I'm one of the first black people. No, let me tell you. So it's funny that you say that, because a lot of people think that a lot of the things that we do as the YouTubers that they see, the visible YouTubers, is the first, which is completely understandable because there's not a lot of other people on Black Twitter. But there's a lot of white people in this country who've been doing YouTube for a long time because they've had the access to, equipment and the access to the internet in general. For example, Casper Lee is one of the guys I looked up to when I started. He has about, I think, 7 million subscribers just on one YouTube channel. And he is from South Africa, and he moved overseas right after matric, same age as me. And then there's his older sister who was also doing it full time. So there was a couple. The other day I said that Mishani Damas is about to get a plaque, a YouTube plaque. And someone was like, you're one of the first YouTube, and I was like, no, guys. Do you know how many people have plaques in this country?
I actually saw that tweet, and it made me try to search for that part of YouTube because we don't know it.
We don't know
All we know are the black
Yeah,
YouTube
which is good for me. I say all the time, I say YouTube is black and I love it that way.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it that way. I love that YouTube is black. I love that when you watch YouTube, most of the time the representation you now see is black. Because when I started YouTube, there were no black YouTube. I mean, there were black YouTubers, but there was nobody really taking it very, very seriously. And not that they didn't like take their content seriously, but it wasn't a thing that I'm going to do this every single week and I'm going to make sure people watch, and then maybe one day it can turn into a career. Maybe one day. There were a lot of people who were just, uploading content here and there. They were enjoying themselves, which was nice. But I didn't really get to see that many people. When I searched South African YouTuber on YouTube, it was like, did you mean, something else? Because literally, like there were no, in 2014, there were no YouTubers. Yeah.
And this is like 4 years later now. When you search for it, it's like 100
people everywhere.
People everywhere.
Everywhere. Like the growth of YouTube in this country has, like, it's massive. And I hope that it keeps this pace, if not more. Yeah.
No, I like it as well because now it's a new career in a country where we're really struggling with employment. So it's a really positive thing. Having a black now.
Yes.
And saying, I'm going to do this internet thing.
Yeah.
What's the reaction?
So the nice thing, I have what people call a cool mom. I'm like a cool mom. And she was relatively open about the idea, especially because she saw how her son was not coping with varsity. She knew, because I'd been complaining from first year that I wanted to leave varsity. At the end of first year, I was like, Mom, I want to do something else, or I want to change my degree. And she was like, no, you can't, you have to stay. Second year, I was complaining again. Third year, I was complaining. So by the time it hit, it was one of those, you know what, I'm tired. She literally was like, then I'm just do it. I know I can't stop you from necessarily doing it, so just do it. And the thing was, I wasn't necessarily banking on her money. So that was the nice part, is I could say, listen, I'm like moving out, I'm dropping out and I'm moving away, and I don't expect you to pay for anything or to help me with anything. And she still did. She gave me like 2.5 when I was moving to Joburg. She was like, I don't know how this is going to help you, but this is all I have at the moment. And I just had to make that work. So she was relatively open about the idea, but that's because I'd been working on it for so many years. And also, she had seen what I'd been doing about YouTube, and she saw that I was really passionate about it. So, like the awards that I was getting and the views and the people were talking about it and the interviews, like the TV interviews and the radio interviews. So she could see that there was something there that I was working on. Yeah. So I always say that to people who ask me, how do I drop out or how do I explain to my parents? And I'm like, firstly, I don't say drop out. First things first. But when you are explaining to your parent, make sure that there's something there that you can be like, here's my award. That's my summer award that I can be a rapper. Here's my whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be that big, but give them something to work with. Yeah.
No, I hear that. And since coming to Joburg, you've been talking about this thing called the Mpanza network. Let's go with it. What's that about? Is it a multi-channel network? What is it? What do you do there?
So it's actually very, very close to a multi-channel network. And there's actually a few people who've tried to start them in South Africa. I didn't even realize that I was starting a multi-channel network when I did it. So the Mpanza network for me was, firstly, the idea came from me starting YouTube channels because I have Sibu Mpanza and I have more Mpanza, and I wanted to start another one and another one and another one. I wanted to have a channel. I wanted, when you come on YouTube, you come on South African YouTube, Sibu Mpanza owns a lot of that South African YouTube. Yeah. I wanted to be the Shonda Rhimes of South African YouTube. Exactly, staying within the community. And then so that's the idea that it started off with was, I'm starting Sibu Mpanza, I'm starting more Mpanza, then I start a gaming channel or I start another channel, and that's what the Mpanza network was going to be. It was just going to be a network filled with my YouTube channels, right? And then something I noticed this year when I started really delving into the business of YouTube was the fact that a lot of creatives didn't know how to make money out of it. They were good at the content creation, brilliant at it, but when it comes to the business side, this year I've started figuring out more and more, and I'm starting to have it on lock, and I was like, listen, let's do this. You concentrate on your business side, come to me, let me manage you and your YouTube channel, and that's how it can work. And I'm starting a group of 5, maybe 6 YouTube channels, and not growing it more than that over the next maybe 2 or 3 years, unless I get more people who will help me on the Mpanza network and work with me on that. But for me right now, it's like a group of 5, 6 YouTube channels that I don't necessarily own. I own my YouTube channels right now. I don't own anybody else's, but I do manage other YouTube channels. So what I found that really works, and this is a tip that I make people pay for, is that when you come in groups, you will make more money than when you come alone. That usually works wonderfully. So, for example, if a brand comes to me, it's not just Sibu Mpanza, it's Sibu Mpanza, Mpanza, that YouTuber, that other YouTuber. Let's do something all together, and then 9 times out of 10 they're like, okay, then the budget just shoots up all of a sudden because there's more people.
They see
more value.
More value, the bigger the audience.
Exactly. So I wanted to create a family, apart from, just managing people. I wanted to create a family where I was like, listen, we all love YouTube, we all want to make money out of YouTube, let's come together and make this money together.
Casey Neistat seems to be doing like something along those lines where I think it's
368 something. Yeah.
368 on Broadway, I think it's called. Is your aspiration also to have a space for those YouTubers where they can create their content?
So that's the one thing I've been begging of Google Africa is to create a YouTube space.
YouTube spaces.
We don't have one because we don't. I think there might be one in Nigeria, but I don't think so. And that's the one thing I've really wanted to do is create a space. And I've spoken to like a couple of my friends about it, but it's a very expensive idea. To have a space open where people can come and create, and that's something I really wanted to. And I was just like throwing ideas around to different friends about like how maybe we can have a membership where you come in, you book your time, you can shoot. Like we all come together to get equipment because we need that. There's a lot of really creative and amazing content creators in this country, but they don't have the space and the expertise or the equipment to create that content. And I want to have a space where I say, listen, the studio is open, you have 3 hours to do whatever you want to do, come in, do it. You pay a small fee just to book your spot for that hour or 3 hours, whatever the case may be. And that's something I want to create. It's an idea I've been sitting on for a while, but the execution I found is so expensive.
I'm sitting on a spreadsheet with, I think also maybe like 6 or 7 ideas for different channels that I've noticed are not being done in South Africa. So I'm like, you know what, if I had the space to shoot these things, it would be incredible. It would be content. And some of them, it's not just targeted at South Africans, it's just everyone in general. If you bump into it, if you're in the UK and you bump into it, you'd definitely be into that type of content. So, when was your very first YouTube team where you either the video was sponsored or you had to create content for the brand?
So my very first YouTube deal was, funny enough, just after I moved to Joburg. So I've been doing YouTube 2014, 2015, 2016. Not a single cent was made from YouTube. 3 years, not a single cent was made from YouTube. And then I moved here December 2016. My idea was I was going to, find a job that was going to somehow pay my bills. Like in terms of, the one skill I had was editing videos, obviously from YouTube. So I was like, I'm going to try find an agency where they will allow me to like edit videos and I'll make like whatever, 8, 9, 10,000 rand from it to try, just pay rent, get food, whatever the case may be. And I was still on the search for a job, and then in end of Jan, beginning of Feb, I got an email from an agency I'd never heard of before. I'd never even heard of agencies. Like, that's how I was not in the loop about this whole marketing thing. And I got an email from an agency saying, listen, we really love your work. If possible, could you come to Joburg for a meeting with us? And I was like, oh, I'm already in Joburg. And they were like, what? And I was like, I moved here. They were like, perfect, come through to the office tomorrow. We want to have a chat with you. We have this social media like campaign that we're doing. And we can't tell you who the brand is yet, but when you come here, we can show you the contract and everything. So the next day I go, and I sit there, and the guys come through and they, hi, our name's on Book of Swag. We are an agency, and we are doing this campaign with one of the big South African banks. And I was like, okay, cool, like, what do you want me to do? And they were like, no, we don't want you to like do anything, we just need you to come through for like, I think it was maybe 3 days on set, and we're doing like an ad, but it's only going to be on social media, it's not like a TV ad. And I was like, okay, cool, sure. In my head, I was like, cool, they're going to give me like 5,000 rand, yeah, I'm going to be able to pay rent. Then they give me the contract, and the number I saw on that contract, I was like, wow. I was like, wait, is this for me? Did you give me the wrong contract? And it wasn't like massive, but for a 21-year-old who had never made a cent, exactly. I lost it. I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, this is your value, dude. This is how much like you cost.
This is
We're
your
happy
going
with-
rate.
Listen, I was not okay. I was like, okay, cool. I'll do whatever you want. What do you want? Do you want 10 videos? I'll do it. I was ready. They were like, no. It's literally 2 days on set. We just want you. We want Sibu Mpanza. We feel like you're building something really amazing, and we want your face. We need you as a personality to make that impact. And it was an amazing experience. And that was, so basically it took about 3 years. And from there, luckily, they all started, like the brand deals just started rolling in, and I had to be like, no, yes. But that's what sustained me last year, yeah.
So it was just, it needed that first one.
Yes, for people to actually see me and see that I can do something. And it was nice when the brands came, they were like, what have you done before? And I sent them a video from that bank that I had worked with. And that's what I've been able to do now is, last year I worked with over 30 brands that year, literally. And by the end of the year, I was able to literally just send an email and say, look, this is what I've done. My CV was packing by the end of the year, and I was able to be like, this is what I can do for your brand. Let me work with your brand because I really love it. Yeah.
So are they now more consistent? Like you said, last year it was 30. Are brands now recognizing the value of YouTube and YouTubers in South Africa?
So the funny thing is, last year it was more, in terms of the brands, it was more quantity than it was quality. So last year I wasn't making a lot of money, but there were a lot of brands. So it was like brands like throwing like little amounts at me, and at the time I was taking a lot of what I could get. Sometimes when something was just, it didn't make sense at all, I'd be like, no dude, like this is not gonna, as much as I want the money, it just doesn't make sense, and it's gonna cause a lot of backlash towards me. But last year it was a lot of brands, not necessarily a lot of money. This year, way less brands that I've gotten, but long-term deals and more money, which is what I wanted. In the beginning of the year, I sat down with myself and I was like, what do you need to do different? Because as much as I got the brand deals last year, I struggled a lot. Like there were times when I didn't know how I was going to pay rent. There were times when I was borrowing money from my friends' parents even. Like it sucked because I couldn't ask my mom for money, and not that she wouldn't give it to me, but she just didn't have it. Like she couldn't give me money. And so I had to ask for money from different people, and I was like, what do I need to do different this year? What needs to change? And what I told myself is I'm not taking brand deals that are like shorter than like a month at least. And also I pushed up my prices, and I was like, actually your value is more than what you're valuing yourself at this point. And also I was more proactive in getting the brand deals. So last year because a lot of it was coming to me, I just sit around and wait and be like, and then after 3 weeks somebody would come and be like, hey, here we're offering you this much, can you do this? And I'd be like, okay, cool, pay rent, buy food, cool. And I'd wait, and I'd wait for the next one, and then it comes. This year, listen, 8th of January was the first day that people were in their offices. My emails, I wrote them like the week before. On the 8th at 8 a.m., marketing managers, brand managers, I pressed send. Like I was way more proactive this year than I was before. I did more briefs, I did more proposals this year. I was just like, I'm not going to get fed if I don't open my mouth. Like if I don't go and like also ask for things, it's just not going to happen. So I think that was the big difference. Yeah.
Recently, like as another way of earning income, I think they're the second channel to have this Zuken Karao. They try to kill the match game right now, with their Fire Squad t-shirts, which are very nice. I think the first guys to do it were Proud Niggas, their t-shirts and caps. And they had a video where they were complaining that people are just not buying. They're just saying they're nice, I want one. But when it's time to actually put your hand in the wallet and
take out your money,
it's not working.
So
it's something that's viable in South Africa.
I think it can be viable, but we must not try it too soon. I have had merch sitting for the longest time, but I was like, I don't feel like it's the right time. Also, it's the way we market it. There's just a lot of aspects to it that we need to figure out before we jump into it. I am keen for Fire Squad merch. I love their merch. I think it's a great idea.
It's true.
For myself right now, I don't feel like I'm in the right place. But merch is, merch sells in terms of like, as a marketing, as a way of making money, it sells. Like overseas, a lot of YouTubers make their money predominantly from selling clothes, which is a wild concept. But I definitely think it's something that can work here. And I think if there's one place that merch can work apart from like rappers and other forms of entertainment, it's YouTubers, because like as any viewer knows, and me as a viewer, I know that I feel closer to a YouTuber than I do any other form of like entertainer or whatever the case may be, or celebrity. So I'm more prone to buy things. It's just, unfortunately, we have to be very careful. We live in a very poor country where majority of the people are spending a lot of money on buying data to watch your videos. So now they have to spend extra money to buy your merch when they're already like digging at the bottom of their wallets to be able to buy. So one, I think merch is a great idea. I just feel like we have to be very, very careful about how we sell it and also the marketing we do. I think firstly, broke niggas weren't the first people to do merch. They are, like I said,
black YouTube community.
That's the thing.
They were the first
in the black YouTube community, I would say definitely they were probably, they were the first ones to do it. Definitely Broke. And then Microwave Boys did it off. So Anacadium was the first to do merch. And they're 100% right. It's very easy for people to say, yo, that's dope, that's fire, we love this. But now it comes to buying. When we say it's 150, it's 250, now people are like, yo. So that's, I think, the reason why I haven't made merch to sell. I am making merch for myself to wear right now, but not to sell. And maybe next year, but I think if I do sell merch, it will probably be 2020.
Can data for so we can have extra money?
Listen, so that people can spend money, so that we can open GoFundMes and Patreons and
Speaking of Patreon, that was going to be my next segue. You mentioned it in a recent live, and is it really viable in South Africa? Like coming from what you just said about disposable income, especially given that a huge chunk of the YouTube audience are students. As it is already, you're struggling, you're a student. The little you get this data, that's already expensive, and then there's now also Patreon.
So I think it also, so firstly, for the people who don't know what Patreon is, it's in its most simplest form, it's like donating to a creator. Donating on a monthly basis, yes. You pledge to donate 10 Rand every month, you pledge to donate 100 Rand or 1,000 Rand.
And levels of like rewards.
Exactly. So in return, maybe I say like, if you pledge 100 Rand every month, I will do a live video with just the people who pledge 100 Rand. So you know it's more of an intimate setting. Or I'll take you guys out for dinner if you pledge 1,000 Rand every month. Something like that. So I think it is one viable, but you have to be careful about like how much you're asking people for. So I think if I was saying, hi guys, please pledge 10 Rand a month so that I can pay for groceries. I think that's different from saying, please pledge 1,000 Rand so that I can buy something big or so like something little like that. And I think that's a very good, especially for students. If I'm saying, if a student YouTuber comes to me and says, please pledge like 100 Rand a month so that I can pay for my transport to go to varsity, I think that's a very viable thing. So you also have to think about why you're asking for this money. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for money at all. I don't think there's an issue with it at all. I was saying recently in a live that I would start a Patreon to ask for money to get a better webcam so that we can make these lives better, like better looking. I don't think there's any issue with asking for money. I just think it's a matter of what you're asking for and also making it viable for the people that you are asking money from.
Okay, as a future channel, you mentioned gaming. I haven't really came across one that is someone who's based in South Africa. I think I've seen one where the South African guy, but they're in the UK.
Okay.
Is that something that's viable?
So, once again, there are many gaming channels in this country. many gaming channels.
I've honestly really tried looking for them. I've tried different variations of South African gaming.
South Africa,
South Africans, nothing.
So gaming YouTubers are very young, in terms of 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, young kids, and there's a big viewing in terms of gaming YouTubers. One of the biggest gaming YouTubers in this country is a friend of mine, Grant Hines. He has bright pink hair, and he was actually one of my first mentors when he came to YouTube. He's an amazing guy. He moved to the UK for a little bit also because that's where gaming is big. I want to start a gaming YouTube channel, apart from the fact that I love gaming. It's something that I make sure I put in an hour in every day that I can. But also, like you said, there's a niche that hasn't been penetrated and explored by black people. And what I found is there are a lot of black gamers. There are a lot, if you go, when I went on Twitter after I bought my PlayStation, I tweeted, I was like, yo guys, what's the best game? Like, there are always people there replying, and I find that they're always, I mean, I am on black Twitter, but they're always young black people who like, they know what these games are about. They know where I must get certain things, how I must get them, what's the best way to do A, B, and C. And I'm like, if there's all this content, why aren't you guys making channels or blogs about gaming? And a lot of the blogs and the channels about gaming are from white young people, which is like 100% okay. But I always feel like there needs to be a black variation of something. And I want, if nobody else is going to do it, listen, I'll do it. I love gaming, and I was like, it's not going to be one of those things where it's just a business decision where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this now because I know it'll be good for business. But I love that it's something that I enjoy, which makes it easier. That's the other thing with the Mpanza Network, is creating channels in niches that I feel like people aren't exploring, but finding that gap where I'm not just going to start something because I feel like it's a good business decision. It also has to be something I enjoy. And gaming is one of those places because there's a lot of gaming sponsorships waiting to be used, but people aren't getting into it.
I feel like especially with like the recent like Comic-Con Africa and Rage,
yes.
That's a huge opportunity.
Yeah. And there are young black people who are starting in it now, which I love. A lot of the hosts for like Rage and Comic-Con were young black kids who are, playing Fortnite, playing FIFA, whatever the case may be, and they're starting to realize that there's something there. But I also don't blame like the black people of this country for not getting into gaming. It's an expensive thing to get in. You have to get your console, or you have to get your computer. You have to buy the games consistently if you don't have the sponsors yet, or the media houses sending you the game. So it's a very expensive, one, hobby, and two, career.
Speaking of channels, let's deviate to the Sibu Mpanza channel. The originator channel.
First of its kind.
It's been quiet. What's happening? So,
in terms of Sibu Mpanza was a lot of race, class, gender talk. There was a lot of serious talk. And I said this in the beginning of the year when I took that 3-month break, it was weighing on me quite a lot. One, because it had grown at such a pace where I felt this like, it felt heavy. Like I got 10,000 subscribers and I was like, ooh, I have to give people, I have to make it worth that 10,000. I have to show people why I got 10,000 subscribers. And I was starting
to there now for your content,
exactly.
Your opinion.
And I was starting to panic, dude. I was like, how am I going to make people, because there were also outside people who were asking, who's the Sibu Mpanza guy? Why does he have 10,000 subscribers? And I felt like I had to prove to people why I got 10,000 subscribers. And it started weighing on me so much that I completely, I caved in, and I was like, whoop, instead of making this content, I was now not going to make any content. And also because I dropped out of school, I felt like, and I said I was going to do this full time, it almost felt like I had to give people so much content because I've been like, I'm dropping out of school and I'm doing this. I have to give people 3 videos a week, and I have to I have to be consistent, exactly. And I completely broke, and I was like, oh, it's not going to work. And also, a lot of the content that I was talking about was so emotionally taxing that I was struggling to make it, because I knew as soon as I post this video, as much as I really want to talk about this topic, the backlash that I'm going to receive from people who don't necessarily agree with me, I'm going to struggle with. And as much as I have thick skin, I was like, I don't want to deal with this. Like, I don't want to deal with these comments or these tweets. I just want to create the content. And that's where Mpanza came in, and Mpanza was such a free channel where I could just do whatever I wanted, and people were enjoying it, and I was like, this is the type of content I want to make. But I do want to go back to Sibu Mpanza. I do want to be consistent on Sibu Mpanza, and I still want to talk about race, class, and gender, and whatever comes from it, because I feel like it's very important things, and a lot of people really enjoyed it because they felt like nobody else was doing it. So I feel like I have that responsibility, especially because people gave me this platform and made my voice louder, that I have this responsibility now to use that platform. And it's definitely coming back. I just wanted to come back with a force. I don't just want to be like, hey, Sibu Mpanza, I'm talking about racism this week in South Africa. I wanted to be, I just want to come back with a bang,
I was really excited. There's this video that you did where you were unboxing the teleprompter.
Yeah.
I was really excited. I was like, oh shit, he's about to get professional.
Back.
He's going professional.
Yeah.
We're about to get regular videos, and then
so the reason I even got the teleprompter was because it was taking me so long I wanted to streamline my work. So coming up with the things to talk about was great, but then when I started talking about them, like, it was really good, I enjoyed it, but I forgot so many things, and on YouTube, especially on my main channel, I really had to be like it had to be short videos, so 3 to 5 minutes compared to the second channel. And when you're trying to keep things so concise, you tend to forget things, because I'm trying to make a video that's not longer than 10 minutes, and then I'll cut it down in editing. So I was forgetting so many things. I was like, I need to invest in myself to get a teleprompter, write down a script, know that I've got A, B, and C, keep my thoughts clear and concise. But even then, as much as I had my production side sorted, my pre-production, when I had to actually prep to do the thing, it was just not working out. So that's another thing, and I'm still glad that I have the teleprompter, because it's helped me so much, but I need to actually use it more. That's what needs to happen.
We are waiting.
Are you waiting? Okay,
waiting.
okay.
Also, Meet the Creator was something like a new regular show that you were going to do. First episode done, Mr. Wasabi.
Yeah.
What does he say?
What? Put 1475. From what is it? 1475 from I can't even remember. My brain is and I know it perfectly. Because what does he say? He says, hello, my name is Wasabi 1475. The hood with skinny niggas die, need to multiply, with the clouds so close to the ground that we all touch the sky. And he goes, I'm not alone. And then whoever's with him will just go on like that. Yeah. So that's the thing with Meet the Creator. I was like, I remember I was in China when I woke up the one morning, and I was like, no, I have to do that. I have to highlight other people. And it was so difficult because there are so many moving parts. It's so easy, like this thing that you're doing right now where you're interviewing other people. It is the most difficult thing, because it's moving parts, it's getting people to a certain place at a certain time. And I found that that's what I struggled a lot with. And the nice thing is I had a sponsor for Meet the Creator, which is Suzuki, and I just shot the second episode now. And I shot it with Tato Rambedi. So Tato with another one. So you guys actually have the exclusive. Nobody knows that. And I'm literally waiting for it to get confirmed right now. But that's the second episode of Meet the Creator, and I really, really enjoyed it. I want it to be one of those segments that's always like sponsored by a really cool brand that I like. So I'm hoping that Suzuki carries on sponsoring it. But yeah, I love Meet the Creator. I love that I get to highlight other YouTubers and talk to other YouTubers about themselves and how they did it. Because I find that a lot of the time when people want to find out about YouTube, they come to me, which is 100% okay. But there are a lot of other stories out there apart from mine. So yeah, that's what Meet the Creator was all about.
Do you feel like it's placing a lot of pressure on you as one of the first black people who did YouTube? Now every other black young person who tries to get in, they go, let me go to Sibu first.
150%, dude. It's so difficult because I always want to be nice, and I always want to be that person but the responsibility that I feel has been placed on me by a lot of like growing YouTubers is something I can't handle. In my DMs, guys, I will get maybe 5 or 6 DMs a day with people who are asking me to put them on in various different ways. And I'm still trying to work to pay my rent right now. I can't focus on putting other people on at the moment. And that's what I struggle with so many times. It's like, do I concentrate, even with Mpanza Network, do I concentrate on my 5, 6 YouTubers where I can really grow these 5 or 6 like YouTube channels, or do I just try to help everybody all the time? Because I will get 5 DMs, right? And then I will get 2 emails, and then I will get a phone call from somebody who's randomly found my number, and it's every day. There is not a day that will pass without me not getting a DM or an email from somebody saying, hi, please collaborate with me, please come into my video, please share my YouTube channel, please do A, B, and C. And it's something that I really struggle with, because I always want to be that form of representation for people, and I don't want to make people feel like they can't do this. Because I know when I was young, when I started YouTube, I didn't necessarily DM people a lot, but there was like this one person who I messaged, and I was like, hey, can you please check out my video? And they like didn't reply to me, and I got really like hurt. And I was like, oh man, you're such a big YouTuber, you're so great. I mean, I'm much bigger than him now, which is a nice
shots fired. Shots fired.
But I remember how I felt after that. I was like, oh man, this really sucks that this big YouTuber is not replying to me right now. And I felt really down, but luckily I was able to pick myself up. And I don't want to give somebody else that feeling. But with the number of requests that are coming in now, like even now I got an email today and I was like, I can only actually do your interview in December because November is fully taken up and I can't collab with you this year because the next year is fully taken up. So that's another thing, is I do feel the responsibility and I just need to work on a way of, figuring that out. Yeah.
So doing a current affairs focused show like Sibu Mpanza, do those news ever get to you, like emotionally, where you're like, okay, I need to zone out from this?
All the time. All the time. That's one of the reasons that I stopped. It was hacking at my mental health. All those stories, like thinking about them, talking to people about them, also getting the comments back from people who, like, I feel like I have a responsibility to read their comments and to, actually analyze and get into it. And so many people say, like recently I did the video on mental health and I didn't think about it in the form that people were going to reply to me. So for me, I was just creating a video about mental health and talking about my mental health and hoping it helps people. And so many people have, rightfully so, opened up to me and gone, hey, I'm dealing with A, B, and C. Thank you for telling us your story. This is what I'm going through. And then when I read through that, it's like, it's weighing heavy. And it's not 2 or 3 people, it's like 50 people sending messages about their relationships, their family, their money problems. And I'm just like, I wish I could help all these people, but I can't. And it weighs so heavily to know that it's good to know I'm not the only person dealing with these things, but also it sucks to know that there's so many people, because I feel like a lot of us are so out of it that we don't realize that there's people right next to us who are dealing with, they're very complex human beings dealing with their own issues. So definitely that's one of the reasons I sort of stopped Sibu Mpanza, was because I needed a way to pull myself towards myself before I go back in there. And I feel like I'm in a better place now to be able to, continue doing it. Yeah.
Do you think, as a black man in a country with a track record for women abuse as ours, I mean, you were saying that you talk a lot about gender. Does that give you, as someone also who's done gender studies, do you think you are well equipped to be talking about that? Wouldn't a woman who has the lived experience of that be better placed to do that?
So that's a very good question, and with that, that's why I'm always careful of what I talk about and the angle I bring towards it. A lot of the time I'll say this is not a video for women, it's a video for the men. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking to. This is what I'm talking about and this is what I'm talking to. And a lot of my videos are angled towards men and not, I don't like preaching to the choir. And that's why I'll say, a lot of my friends know this, I'll say I'm talking to the perpetrators. Right, so when I do talk about gender-based violence, I'm talking to men in a, what are you doing? How can we fix this? And so I won't say, guys, I know what women deal with, and this is, I will never say I can never understand. I can sympathize, I can't empathize with what's going on. So I can never say, I know how it feels to be catcalled by a man. No, I don't, but I know I can sort of speak on why men catcall and why we shouldn't catcall. So it's all about the way you come into the conversation and being careful not to take up space where you don't need to. So that's always something I'm very careful about, and especially when I talk about queer issues, especially, I'm always very careful about that, where either one, I will bring a queer person to speak about those issues, or the angle I'll have it is I'm talking to straight people or homophobic people about how we can do better and how we can treat queer people in a better way to make sure that their lives are simpler. Yeah.
There's a South African YouTuber that has, I think for the past 2 years now.
Yeah, terrorized
you on Twitter, on his videos.
Yeah.
Ronaldo Ho, I think?
Ronaldo Jos.
What's going on there? What's this guy's problem?
Man, I think his problem in general is just with young black people doing better than him. I think he really, really struggles with that. And even recently with the YouTube ZA tour, he couldn't wrap his head around how young black people have managed to create this tour without him, as he is one of the big YouTubers. He can't wrap his head around brands wanting to work with us and not wanting to work with him when he's got more numbers. And for him at such a big age, he's like a 30-something-year-old, and he can't realize why brands don't want to work with a racist, with a misogynist, with somebody who can't think further than himself. It just doesn't make sense to him why, one, he's not making money out of this and other people are making more money out of it, and also why he's not invited to these things. And it's just people don't enjoy being around him. People don't enjoy his content except for his sympathizers, except for the racist white community. They will enjoy it, but they're not. That's the question I always ask, is why don't his viewers pump money into him? Because the reason I make money is because of my viewers. It's because my viewers watch and my viewers help me get to places. So if he has more numbers, surely he should be making that money through all these connections. And especially with white people watching him, that's a lot of social capital. So why aren't those people helping? Why is his issue with other YouTubers and not with something he must be doing wrong? Obviously there's something going wrong there.
I think also it's entitlement.
Yes.
Just throwing your subscriber number up there,
yes,
expecting to be on top.
Yep.
Just because of that.
Yeah. That was his big issue. We had people there with 200 subscribers. The point was not that. The point was not to bring the biggest YouTubers to the tour. It was to bring people we thought could help us grow it. And even Moyen said it. She was like, we are a group of friends. And if something goes wrong, I need to be able to count on my friend to help me fix it. If I have a complete stranger, yes, they could help me, but I wouldn't know that. She didn't have to. For example, when we got to Joburg, their Airbnb wasn't ready yet for them to move in. So I was like, guys, order an Uber, we'll come to my apartment, we'll chill at my apartment until it's ready, then we can go and check you guys in. If I have random people on the tour, I'm not going to say, hi, let's all go to my apartment and wait. It was just not going to make sense. So
don't know them.
I don't know them that way, exactly. That's why it had to be a group of friends first. And then next year, yo, guys, listen, you're not ready for next year. You are not ready for what we're about to bring. Yeah.
It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to a point where we get where just one person can go on their own tour.
Exactly.
And they fill those venues.
Yes. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get it where Zuki and Karabo can decide we're going to do 6 cities every 2 days, and they fill up, and people get there, and people pay tickets or whatever the case may be, so that they can pay for this tour. I can't wait till we get to that point. But even the YouTube ZA tour was like a stone. We threw a stone in the dark, and we're hoping that somebody was going to catch it, and people did. We didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect to fill an entire UCT lecture hall. That was wild. Listen, that lecture hall, I remember failing a test in there. And it was so cool to go back, and 500 seat guys, there were people sitting in the aisles because there weren't enough seats. It was amazing. And to think that as soon as I walked out, people started screaming at the top of their lungs, and I was like, I didn't realize we had this much impact. And it wasn't like a fangirl scream, it wasn't people going, oh my god, it's Sibu Mpanza. It was like, shout outs to you for what you've done. That was the thing. I could tell the difference between that, oh my god, I can't believe that I'm seeing him, compared to a, yes, we're proud of you kind of scream. That was the kind of screams that there was,
As someone who comments on politics and social issues, where do you personally stand on politics in South Africa right now?
Oh, politics in South Africa are a hot mess. So the one thing you'll see me really comment about is actually government. And politics in terms of parties. I will talk about concepts such as race, class, but I'll never necessarily talk about not that I'll never, but it's not something I've touched on in terms of policies or the actual parties themselves, because I feel like they're so flip-floppy that the one day I'll say something about the ANC, and then it actually makes more sense to have said it about the EFF because they've changed their views or whatever the case may be. So I'll tackle racism as a whole, but not racism and then what the ANC is doing about it, what the EFF or what the DA is doing about it. I don't think also I'm at that level of expertise yet. And I'm very careful to speak about politics in that sense when I don't fully understand it. So that's what I've been very careful about, is talking about either the DA stance on A, B, and C when I actually don't fully understand it, or the ANC stance when I don't fully understand it. So more often than not, I will speak on the concept itself. But in terms of politics, listen, I don't even know who to vote for. I feel like everything's a mess, and I'm so scared for the next elections because I feel like I'm just going to go there and just be like, and hope for the best.
2019 is when I show us free.
Exactly.
Listen, man, thank you for agreeing to be our first guest.
Of course, of course.
This has been incredible. Thank you so much for your time. This has been the No Limit podcast with me, Kopano Khonyane, and we are out. Thanks to Sibu Mpanza.
Thanks for watching, guys.
YouTuber extraordinaire, for agreeing to this.